Greetings, everybody. I do look for the videos to see where the collective mind is, to gravitate towards sharing my thought processes pertaining to what everybody's pretty much talking about. I just, for the record, want to enlighten everybody that it's not that hard to make life a lot more easier and more practical, more logical, and more conceptualized, that being good is easy. I mean, like, it's what happens when we're able to realize that it is, and how fundamentally life, that we have been so ingrained with this type of habitual complexing out, or complicating, right? That life is that challenging. We set ourselves up almost like an innate type of resistance or friction to have some sort of a challenge to live life. And really, it's a matter of your thoughts that don't hurt, a matter of contemplation, figuring certain situations that aren't too far fetched as being complicated, like doing calculus or fractions, or changing decimals into regular numbers. I mean, like, meaning mathematics. I mean, like, life is pretty simple, and if we can put it into perspective, that we only need to reason rightly. The outlook of our perspective on life, it's rather simple. Just when we complicate it, it has to do with our feelings. And 9 out of 10 times, anything that we feel, we can have a slight little adjustment in our thoughts to not take it on emotionally so much. And the more aware we are of how we feel, to make that necessary adjustment or readjustment in that moment, sets us with that new habit of perceiving life as easy. Because to change your thought and build up a momentum of positivity by concentrating on it, most people don't want to do that, but we are forced to upgrade, and it requires a type of mental habitualness called exercising reasoning, and that's the mental muscle. So that's what we are basically developing, is a mental muscle with recalibrating our thoughts. So positivity is all I reinforce, that changing your mind or changing your thinking and practicing to do so habitually, consciously, is how you exercise the mental muscle. So if something once upon a time bothered you, if someone made a comment to you, accept constructive criticism, whereas the receipt of an emotional response behind someone correcting you or making a type of commentary that would have to be perceived that they care about me. If they didn't, they wouldn't say anything. And that I appreciate someone, in their disposition of being considerate, seeing my facial reaction, that I might feel embarrassed or I might feel some type of way. They can read it, and if they pull me to the side, delivering the message, considering my feelings, and not wanting to be corrected. Most adults don't want to think that they need any type of mental help, but 9 out of 10 times, I'd rather someone tell me, well, you got food right here, or you have boogers right here. And most people would appreciate that, depending on how it's done. Like the other day, just to make it, a thorough video, someone was with me, and, another, person randomly we came across walking together, was asking for help. But the guy that I was walking with said, "Oh, don't apologize to him." I said, "Well, listen, I know what it's like to be homeless. I know what it's like to be down and out and not have, and to humbly ask." His position or disposition was compromised. And so understanding from that perspective, not to come across as nasty to him, that he's asking politely and to let him down easy, because as a man, or whatever the circumstances are surrounding that soul's life, just be compassionate, being compassionate, or just to be compassionate, or show compassion, is all that that soul needs. Already being in that situation, we don't know the details of his life. So in other words, kind of like show a little empathy and sympathy, not to be so mean. We do have this mentality, a lot of us, that if we see someone homeless, they had something they did wrong in their life. Perhaps they didn't. If we don't know the details behind, or the whole backstory of that individual's suffering or lessons, we can't shun them, because that's how life is. The tables can turn, and then that individual that you frown down on can then one day be you. Lo and behold, I have somehow, as blessed as I've always been, I have had those lessons. And so that's why I'm more compassionate, that I would have a more pleasant demeanor and say, listen, brother, I don't have it right now. I apologize. I don't have it right now. Normally, and some people would think that that's just explaining too much. But for me, I love that. I love that someone would be that considerate to take the time to care enough to have compassion for me or empathy for me, and then, let me down easy. That's a deep thinker I am, someone that cares genuinely about everybody. And so that little bit of an instant window to make this video surmise right now, to be considerate of you all's time, that little experience of having an experience of being homeless and having to humble out and ask for help, it touched me. And so that's why my heart is open to those who may not be in the best situations. As the saying goes, the angels can be in homeless individuals, homeless souls, and to show compassion always. I love you all. Please take that with you, that we are in this together. As that brother, his name is OG. He makes all these videos and he says, well, I'm not suicidal, so he's protected. His name, God, I can't remember his name, but he makes all these videos about a combination of, just highlighting what's already on social media. And it's just a platform that he freely does that on his channel. And his name is OG, or I can't remember the name, but anyway, you're protected. As long as you think that you're protected, that's how you just call on those divine forces to work for you nowadays. And so positivity trumps any negativity, and we don't have to feel threatened about anything. Just be good, and good comes your way. As I say, good karma is what you put into life, and just spread love moving forward if you can. In little ways, just smile, tell somebody good morning, be cordial, especially in the business of restaurants and servicing others. Be considerate. If we're having a bad day, that's a personal issue. Try to recalibrate and say, you know what, that person I'm engaging with outside of me didn't do it to me, so my disposition needs to be considerate that that person is innocent. They don't know what's going on with me personally. I'm not going to tell my business, but I'm going to extend to recalibrate that I'm going to be in my right mind and be polite and respectful as I would want them to be to me. So it doesn't have an escalation of a back and forth, that, we are aware or cognizant of our behaviors and how we think moving forward to just, upgrade ourselves and society and our communities and our world. Mwah. I love you all.